would you like to share some problems that some cases the people came to you and they share their problems and you think that this is very different?
A lot of people are overwhelmed, for
Hmm.
one, because they have this preconceived idea and pressure, external pressure. So
Hmm.
there's an external pressure from society of the way that we should do things, and the conformity, causes the anxiety, the depression, the procrastination.
Welcome, guys. Welcome back to this channel. And today we are going to have an amazing podcast because we are going to talk about lots of things related to mindset and beautiful things around coaching industry. Because today we have a very amazing guest with us, Claire. So today, like in Intromaxx, you're gonna learn lots of things. So make sure to watch this podcast till the end because this podcast will be a compact form of knowledge and that we are providing you for absolutely free. To make sure to subscribe this channel and let's get started. So Claire, thank you so much for being in my channel. I'm very excited.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Claire, today we are going to talk about lots of things. I want to extract lots of knowledge from you because you have a good experience. You are doing this from a long time, and like I'm very excited for this. So let's get started. And first of all, I would love to talk about that how a girl from UK started this journey into the coaching business, and right now you are in Goa in India. So like let's start with your journey, that how do you came to this industry?
Well, I had a corporate career for a very long time. So I was actually working in investment banking for around 15 years. And part of that investment banking journey was in leadership and mentoring. So
Hmm.
I was a big part of the Goldman Sachs mentoring and leadership program. And so that really ignited my passion
Yeah.
for supporting others on their journey, really, because I'd had quite a lengthy career at that point, and then I really enjoyed coaching other people into that industry, and a lot of that was around managing their stress levels and managing anxiety, because in the corporate world it's go go go, it's a busy, stressful
Right.
environment. So I also had a strong yoga practice and a strong spiritual practice. And I really enjoyed bringing that into the corporate world and encouraging people to manage their stress levels and regulate their stress levels, by incorporating these techniques and getting out in nature, these things that corporate people forget to do.
Yeah, right.
So in 2012, shortly after there was a big banking crash around 2008, I
Mm-hmm.
stuck it out for a few years, but I have to say it was a very difficult environment to be in, for those few years. So in 2012, I decided to quit the corporate life and just go for it myself and go self-employed, set up my own business mentoring. And I was very blessed to be offered a position with the Prince's Trust and Young Enterprise, they are charities in the UK who are they coach and they mentor young people to set up their own businesses, from the very beginning, and we mentor them regularly all the way through. So that's where the accountability stuff really began for me as well. I was an accountability coach for several young businesses for quite a long time. And I've been doing that ever since. A lot of my work was always in person, one to one, or running groups. So I've run group retreats and seminars and workshops. And so I've loved running groups.
Yeah.
And then when the pandemic hit, I obviously, all of us that were doing stuff face to face,
Mm-hmm.
had a new challenge.
Yeah.
We had a big new challenge. So I was inspired by seeing other people work online,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, actually, if other people can do it, I can do it. I'm a big believer that if they can, I can. Nobody when we can learn new skills.
Right.
So it took me probably a few years, the last couple of years particularly, to really kind of refine that, how that looks, and incorporate the travel and actually become a full-time digital nomad.
Yeah.
Because travel, yes, as you rightly say, is a big passion for me. It always has been.
You're right.
But I would kind of do these short trips. I would work for a long time based in the UK, and then I would take some time off and go on a trip. And then a couple of years ago, I thought, actually, do you know, people are managing to do this online, and I started to craft my business a little bit more online. I built my website. I got more active on social media. I leveraged platforms like Upwork. And through referrals, a lot of referrals actually, it's been. I've built a client base now where I work one-to-one online with my clients,
Yeah.
um, or running group retreats online. And I travel. I travel while I do it. So as long as
Yeah.
I've got my
So
laptop,
how many times you travel in a year? Like in a year, how many trips were there?
Well, last year I was away for a lot of, I was probably away for about 4 months of the year last year.
Okay.
And this year I'm probably going to be away for the whole winter. It has actually, it's always been a dream of mine, just to escape the UK for the winter. And again, I realized last year, other people do that. So why don't I give it a go?
Mm,
Why not? Why not try? And I always wanted to come Far East, and I had never traveled so far. I'm a solo traveler, and I work. I'm a solopreneur, and I'm a solo traveler. So it was quite a step out of my comfort zone to decide to leave the UK for 6 months. So, but
right.
that's my plan. I don't really have a massive plan of what's next,
Mm,
but all I do know that I'm enjoying Goa right now. It was a beautiful place for me to land, and now to gently start exploring a bit of India, and then potentially move on to the dream is Thailand, Cambodia, and that's been a lifelong dream, really, to do that
right.
trip. So
So this is the
I
best
kind of
thing that we
thought,
can
why
do.
wait?
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you are into online
absolutely.
business, like there is time freedom, there is like location freedom. We can do anywhere, anytime, whenever we want. So this is the best thing for coaching business if you are doing this online. So we love it. So as you told me that you are like into the corporate world, and right now you help the corporate people who are struggling with stress, anxiety, and all those things, help them to recover all those things, open their blockages and something like that. So have you faced this same problem in your like corporate life? Like how was it? Would you like to share some experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the reason that I do what I do is
Yeah.
because I need it in my own life. So
Yeah.
I walk the journey that I talk about. So
Yeah.
this whole thing around practicing what you preach and walking your talk, I live it because I have to, because I need it myself.
Right.
In the corporate world, I did suffer from anxiety, massive distraction, massive procrastination, not being able to focus on one thing, because in that busy environment,
Right.
you're training yourself to multitask, and you're training yourself to do so many things at once, and answer this person and check these emails and try and eat at your desk while you're working, and work 12-hour days, and it just is not sustainable,
Right.
firstly. And it's also not healthy. It's just not healthy, not getting natural daylight, not being out in nature, not connecting socially. staring at a screen for hours and hours and hours on end.
Yeah.
You know, the messages that all gives to our brain is it's overload and it's overwhelm. And I did experience all of that. And then that has a knock-on effect on the nervous system, which then manifests into, it can, in my case, it manifested into depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
And at that stage, then I knew I had to change it. And only I was responsible for my own health.
Right.
And that it was really up to me to make the changes that I needed to make so that I could become healthy. So I leaned more into my yoga practice. I leaned more into my spiritual practice. Um, and and then I started talking about it. Actually, you know, I'm feeling better because I'm doing a dedicated yoga practice in the morning. I'm feeling better because I'm getting daylight in the morning. I'm feeling better because I'm resting when I need to, and I'm
Right.
scheduling these blocks of, you know, maybe an hour, 90 minutes. I schedule blocks to work in, and then I take a break. I'm moving my body, you know, we're not just static, sat
Yeah.
here, allowing all of the stagnant energy just to sit. It needs to be moved. You know, we need to
Right.
keep moving and evolving and improving and growing and all of this good stuff. And yeah, so that was my journey with that.
So, in your this career of like a long career, like there's lots of clients would be come to you and they share their problem. That what's their problem? Like if they're staring the screen for like 10 hours, 12 hours, it's a pressure in their mental system, and there is lots of problems that people are facing. Would you like to share some problems that some cases the people came to you and they share their problems and you think that this is very different? Do you love to share some experience of that?
A lot of it that I'm seeing, particularly right now, is around focus,
Focus, yeah.
actually. A lot of people are overwhelmed, for
Hmm.
one, because they have this preconceived idea and pressure, external pressure. So
Hmm.
there's an external pressure from society of the way that we should do things and the conformity, you know. And within that, it doesn't allow the creative mind or soul to really blossom.
Hmm.
It stagnates us and it oppresses us. And then that causes overwhelm, it causes the anxiety, the depression, the procrastination,
Right.
and you know, this pandemic that we have of ADHD, of just not being able to focus, not being able to hold the focus,
Hmm.
because again, like I say, we're multitasking and we're not designed to multitask. Although we can, which is brilliant, and there may be sprints in the day where we do several things at once, and it's perfectly okay. But when we're doing several things at once, we're not present. We're not fully present with the one thing that we're doing. So we don't finish it because we don't value it, because we're not fully present with it and we're not in our calm center, fully focused on the one thing, loving the one thing that we're doing, honoring it, worshipping it, you know, as
Hmm.
something that's here right now and being present, fully present. And so that's a big thing for my clients, is getting present, is really
Right.
finding their center, for one. So finding their center. And then when they find their center, then they can start to question, okay, what do I really want? What do I really want from my life? So I work with them then around visioning, and I do a lot of visioning exercises with them. I do guided meditations. So I take people into an alpha state where they can access the subconscious mind and they can really then start to explore the vision. What's the dream? What's the dream lifestyle? What's coming up for them, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
then we can really focus on that. Because
Hmm.
when we are emotionally invested in the one thing, we're more likely to do it and we're more likely to focus on it. Whereas when we're doing all of the things that society says we should do, all we're doing is we're on a treadmill of making the money, paying the bills. Where's the love in that? You know, where's the emotional investment in that? And where is the fulfillment of a well-lived life in doing that? You know, so
100%.
it takes some bravery to step out of that world and just take a step
Hmm.
back and really reassess, you know, what's important and how can I find something that I love to do and how can I focus on it and finish it and do
This
it,
is a big
actually live
problem
it.
that you told us, that people are doing multitasking, and that's the reason they are not
Mm,
able to focus on a particular thing that they should focus on. And this is the same problem that even I'm facing sometimes. Like sometimes there is lots of work that I have to do, so I just get started with one work, and suddenly my mind goes to like, this is also a thing that I have to get completed. Then I suddenly jump on that, jump on this, and like
yeah,
at the end of the day, like not completed a single task. Like all the tasks are messy,
exactly.
and everything is like
Yeah.
half off. So yeah, that's a problem that you are solving, and like this is amazing. And as you told us that you do guided meditations, and like what do you think, what's the main, like, okay, let me tell, please tell me about your day routine, because like this is also a very important thing for having a successful day. Because if our morning routine is good, if we are doing the right practices in our morning, then our entire day went very well. So would you like to share your day routine, that how do you start your morning, how is your afternoon, how's your evening, and everything?
Yeah. So it's actually a really massive thing for me that because traveling can be very ungrounding.
Right.
So my home and my center is in my practice, and I was taught this by a spiritual teacher many years ago, and many since. That, for example, my yoga mat or my mala beads, that is my anchor to my home. That's my safe space. So wherever I am in the world, when I put my yoga mat down at sunrise, that is my routine. And I stick to that routine, whether I've got jet lag, whatever's going on, whether I want to do it or not, and particularly when I don't want to do it. So my day looks like I get up at sunrise, I wake up naturally at sunrise, I go out straight away. So I drink maybe a litre of water, and then I go out so that I'm getting some natural daylight. And provided I'm in an area where I can do it, I walk bare feet. So often when I travel, and here is very similar, I can get out and I can walk to the beach, and I'm barefoot on the beach and I'm taking in the natural daylight for at least 20 minutes, half an hour, within after waking up. Because we have a cortisol spike when we first wake up, and a lot of people tend to hit the coffee.
Right.
And when you take in caffeine with the cortisol, now suddenly we're kind of wired. Whereas if we introduce daylight to it, then it balances that cortisol, and it balances the hormones, and it brings us to a center. So I first of all I do the walk, then I come back and I stretch on my yoga mat for another 20 minutes. Then I do breath
Okay.
work for another 20 minutes. So I'm connecting to my breath. And then I meditate after that. And the meditation always looks like I'm imagining myself, my body being grounded and rooted into the earth. I'm checking in on my body to see how I feel today. Am I a bit grumpy? Do I feel excited? Where does this feel in my body? What's physically going on with me? So then I know if I need to be a bit more gentle with myself, if I'm not feeling 100%, or if I'm ready to go and I can really attack something for a full 90 minutes. So once that morning practice is done, and I also have an altar that I set up, I think it's really important to have a sacred space. And so it's a very small altar that travels with me, that has a couple of crystals and a couple of deities that are on postcards so that they just flat pack down. So I have those visible so that I'm always reminded that I have this space that I go to morning and evening that is crossing a threshold into a sacred space, that's centering myself amidst a power that's greater than my thoughts and my body, you know. So I want to be reminded of that first thing of the day, so that I already know I'm part of something greater, and that whatever has been going on in here, stories of the mind, sometimes we wake up and the mind is already telling us a story about what could happen today, what they did yesterday. All of these stories aren't true. So this is why I have a very regimented and structured morning practice, so that I'm doing these things. I don't have to think about them. My mind doesn't have to come into it, you know. Often I'll have a mantra on repeat, which is something else that I've learned through many spiritual traditions, is to have a mantra that you repeat. And they say that when you repeat the holy names, then God is dancing on your tongue. And that's such a beautiful thing, that you know, having those spiritual names and seed sounds going on in the mind, then it means that those disruptive thoughts aren't happening. So generally, you're absolutely right. After that, I feel good, I feel centered, and I feel ready for my day. And then I put my phone on, and then I check external stuff. But until that point, for the first 2 hours of the day, I don't want anyone else in my space.
Okay. So first of all, your day starts with a beautiful daylight, sunlight. Then you go to yoga, and after that, like for the 2 hours, your phone, you don't touch to the phone. And the lots of people just get up in the morning, just take their phone and start scrolling the reels and the TikTok and all those things, and that's the reason their mindset is not good. So I think that the things that you have shared with us is beautiful. So okay, so as you have told us about your coaching program where you help people in lots of things, in increasing their mindset capacity, in helping them with their anxiety, with their depression. So would you like to talk about more about your coaching program, that how you can help the viewers who are watching this video, like how they can also get benefit from your coaching program?
So currently I'm working one-to-one with my clients. They tend to be entrepreneurs, professionals, and digital nomads, actually, because you know, because that's a journey that I'm on and that I understand. And so being a digital nomad means that I do know how to get these practices into the day, and to check in on myself and make sure that I'm continuing to check in. So I work one-to-one with my clients to get clear on what their vision is for their life. You know, we don't have to live in stress. We don't have to live in anxiety. That's it. We don't have to be that way. And we can also be creative in our day. And that's really, really important. So I work with my clients one-to-one on visioning, getting clear on what the vision is. And then we work on introducing the practices that work for them, because my practice might not work for you, but we talk it through together. We work out what a practice could look like for you. And then we structure. So I work on scheduling and microtasking, because often when we're overwhelmed and we have so much to do, and now there's this potential new life ahead of me, that's overwhelming. I'd rather go back to the easy stuff, you know. So we work on scheduling and microtasking. So together we work on breaking it all down into manageable steps that will work for you in your life. And then each day you're taking a step and you're moving the needle towards that dream reality, because it's a real thing, you know. So I work on those practical steps as well. And weekly, I work on accountability. So each week, we're checking in on the vision, we're checking in on the schedule, we're checking in what's next, and we're checking in on accountability. Did it get done? Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. It's not a judgment. Accountability is not a judgment. Accountability is a milestone checker, you know? So if it didn't get done, then we just talk about how and why and what needs to be tweaked and adjusted. And just to have that support and that structure, that regular weekly person who can just hold space. You know, I love holding space for people. I love to watch people blossom and witness them have these amazing realizations that, oh my God, I can do this, I can do this. And really to encourage, you know, I'm a cheerleader, I'm your cheerleader. So I love to encourage the best in people. And when I see the best in someone, then intuitively I'm kind of able to draw that out a little bit more, you know, until your confidence is, yeah, I can do this. So I'm a cheerleader, accountability coach, and also really support these spiritual practices as well. Yeah.
Right, right. Beautiful, beautiful. So how the viewers can connect with you? Should they should they go to your LinkedIn, or which social media platforms you are active, so that I can just link it down into the description and viewers can connect with you directly?
Yeah, great. I'm active on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram.
Okay.
And all of those links are on my website, which is clairebelmont.net.
Okay, okay. So 100% guys, we are going to share all the links into the description. If you want to connect with Carl, you can definitely go ahead, because this is a beautiful opportunity for you to connect and learn some new thing and grow in your life. So Carl, right now I wanted to know one more thing from you. Like, you are doing lots of things, everything is beautiful, great. But now what? Now what's your future goal? Now what you are thinking to achieve in next 1 year or next 5 years? Like, well, what's the vision of yours? Because I'm very curious to know like about that, and viewers also want to know like what's your future goal?
Yeah, my vision is to leave a legacy. You know, it's really, really important for me to encourage and reach as many people as I can with this message, particularly, you know, bringing in the natural practices and the daily practices, and really being our true, authentic selves, you
Yeah.
know. So my vision is to certainly continue doing what I'm doing, because, you know, this that I'm living right now, don't get me wrong, it's not all easy. It's
Yeah.
not easy, but life isn't easy. That's
Right.
okay. It's not meant to be always. But the vision is to continue doing this, to continue traveling, seeing as many different places of the world as I can, and to embrace new cultures and embrace new spaces, and to put this message out. So I would really love to also, I'm starting to build some online material a little bit more. So I'd really like to have an online course produced, and I'm working with a few people on that, which is really exciting. So I'd really like to leave that legacy as well. But I love what I do so much, that leaving that legacy of coaching professionals and coaches around these ancient practices. You know, these are ancient practices that we're bringing back into daily life, current modern life, and adapting them slightly so that it fits into our modern life. And I feel like it's it's a mission, it's a divine mission that I'm on. And I know that I'm not alone with this mission. A lot of us that are out here,
Beautiful.
a lot of us that are out here. So it's to continue, you know, holding the torch and leading the way, and blossoming more, expanding more, growing
Right.
more. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's amazing. Like, uh, I love to talk about this. I love this podcast. And viewers, if you love this podcast, make sure to like this podcast. And apart from that, if you have any doubts, anything you want to ask to Care, you can just drop it down into the comment section so that we can just answer it down. And thank you so much, Care. Like, it was amazing. We love this podcast. We get a lot of insights from you about our daily routine, how we can like about our mindset, and it was seriously amazing. Thank you so much for being in our podcast, giving your valuable time. This was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Titan. It's great to speak to you. Thank you for having me.